February 2022 is an absolutely action-packed month for gaming. In this video, I want to discuss some of the most exciting games releasing this month that have caught my eye. Be sure and let me know what games you're most excited for, and let me know if there's anything that I didn't mention that you're also looking forward to playing. And if you want to know more about some of the exciting games releasing in 2022, check the description for my video where I preview some other exciting games releasing this year. So let's get into the most exciting games releasing in February 2022. First up, we have Sifu, releasing February 8th for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Sifu is an upcoming beat-em-up action-adventure game developed and published by French studio Slowclap. And while Sifu may be rated T for teen, as they say in the streets, these hands are rated E for everyone. Sifu will be presented in third person and will feature intense hand-to-hand combat. It puts you in control of a young kung fu student on the path of revenge, hunting for the murderers of his family. He will have to rely on his unique mastery of kung fu as well as a mysterious pendant that he wears to prevail and to preserve his family's legacy. This hunt for your enemies will take you throughout the hidden corners of the city, and you have one day and countless enemies on your way that you will have to battle through. For every mistake, there will be a price to pay, but more on that in a minute. In the game, you'll be able to use a variety of different light and heavy attacks as well as various combos. You can use attacks and parrying to unbalance your opponent and can finish them off with powerful takedowns. As you fight, you'll need to lean, duck, and jump to avoid different attacks. However, some attacks from the biggest and strongest enemies will be unblockable, so you'll need to use your skills to avoid these attacks. And you can use the environment in different ways and use everything at your disposal, from throwing objects to makeshift weapons, windows, and even ledges. And you can also use what is called focus to deliver precise attacks. However, you'll want to use these sparingly and on your most difficult opponents. Earlier we discussed that for every mistake there will be a price to pay, and in Sifu, time will be the price you'll have to pay. As you die in the game, your character's age will increase. Using your player's pendant, you can rise through death, but it comes at the cost of age. During death, you're also able to spend experience points for new ways to take on your opposition, where you will be essentially learning through death. And the more that you die, the faster you'll age. Past a certain age, your pendant will no longer save you anymore, and the last death will be the final one. However, the game will also feature a detective board that will keep track of all the info you've obtained on your 5 targets, as well as their hiding places. So even if you die before you complete your goal, you can use this info and the shortcuts that you have found to speed up the process. Sounds like a fantastic experience for those who like combat-focused games, so be sure and let me know your thoughts. We also have Dying Light 2 Stay Human releasing for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on February 4th. Dying Light 2 takes place around 20 years after the events of the first game and around 15 years after the apocalypse. In Dying Light 2, players will also take control of a new protagonist named Aiden Caldwell, who is actually an infected survivor himself. Aiden is on a search for his sister Mia, who he was taken away from at a young age by a man named Waltz. While the first Dying Light took place in the fictional Turkish city of Harran, Stay Human is set in Villedor, aka the city. This is a huge urban area in Europe that is said to be the last remaining piece of humanity. The game's map is said to be at least 4 times larger than the original game, and Techland has also said that it has doubled the parkour options for players this time around. The game is also said to feature 3 different factions fighting for control of the city that players can interact with. First up is the Peacekeepers. They are a very rigid and military-based faction focused on law and order as well as maintaining control. Next up is the Renegades. The Renegades are scavengers and former prisoners who have broken free after the apocalypse. They also follow a leader called the Colonel. And finally, we have the Survivors. The Survivors are basically just regular folks, regular citizens who are trying to use the things around them to stay alive and to keep moving through this world. Choices are supposed to carry significant weight in Dying Light 2. So as you play the game and decide who to help as well as who to pair up with, visually the game will change, but also in terms of gameplay as well. Regarding the game's combat, first-person melee is still the primary combat style in the game. The developers have said that there are nearly 200 different weapons and weapon variations for players to choose from and create. The game will also feature a day and night cycle. While during the day humans run the streets under the main priorities and also opposition, at night they become overrun by the infected. Dying Light 2 will feature something unique to the series called Dark Zones, which are areas where large groups of infected have clustered together. Buildings will be full of infected during the day trying to stay out of the sunlight. These are often infected buildings with shoulder-to-shoulder zombies. So when these infected crowd the streets at night, it will present opportunities for players to explore buildings while infected are outdoors. Compared to the original game, Dying Light 2 has a full-fledged stealth system. There are various indicators, dedicated hiding areas, as well as a detection meter. Like the original game, Dying Light 2 will once again offer co-op. In the game, you will be able to join up to 3 other friends in co-op for a total of 4 players. Techland has said that Dying Light 2 will take 500 hours to fully complete. This information was confirmed after the official Dying Light Twitter account posted this image, saying that the game would take nearly as much time to fully complete as it would to walk from Warsaw, Poland to Madrid, Spain. Techland has said that it will take over 20 hours for the main story alone, and including the main story and side quest, it will take around 80 hours to complete. And if you want to know more about Dying Light 2, be sure to check out my complete game preview, located in the description, where I discuss over 30 minutes of details about everything we know about the game. Next up, we have the highly anticipated PlayStation exclusive Horizon Forbidden West, set for release February 18th. Forbidden West is the sequel to 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Forbidden West is said to take place 6 months after the end of the first game, and we will see Aloy travel west from her homeland to a new frontier setting. Aloy is on a journey to seek out her friends as well as a solution to the Red Blight. The Red Blight is a mysterious organism that's destroying the natural world, killing off plants, animals, tribes, and also creating a non-stop superstorm. Along the way, Aloy will meet new tribes, including hostile tribes capable of overriding the machines. You will also face dozens of new machines as she searches for a way to cure this Red Blight. It is said that the game map will be a bit bigger than the original game, Horizon Zero Dawn. Forbidden West is said to stretch all the way from Utah to the Pacific coast. From the footage and pictures shown, landmarks have clearly shown post-apocalyptic San Francisco, with the Golden Gate Bridge being overtaken and the Palace of Fine Arts ruined and underwater. Forbidden West also has a huge focus on exploration, including underwater exploration. The game's narrative director is quoted as saying, "Exploration is really the theme, and it's not enough for us to just show underwater. We wanted to make sure it's every bit as beautiful as what you see in the natural world above it. But it wasn't just enough that you could swim around underwater. We wanted to do some things that are really surprising and interesting." So it sounds like the world on land is not only going to be beautiful, but the land underwater as well. The game also focuses on trying to make the different tribes that Aloy interacts with feel very real. Continuing on the topic of exploration and movement, the game's lead systems designer has talked about Aloy's ability to climb freely on and across huge sections of rocky terrain, being able to use different machines as mounts, using grapple points throughout the environment, swimming underwater, and also gliding with a shield wing. Combat in the game has also been overhauled in some ways. The game's lead combat designer has said that they wanted to increase player choice. This includes giving more choices for melee, weapons, outfits, skills, and different types of mechanics that players can choose and sort of tinker with to their liking. The original skill tree from Zero Dawn has also been redesigned and replaced with a brand new skill tree. Forbidden West game director has said that they hope that this new skill tree will offer more depth to players and allow players to sort of upgrade and choose what best fits their playstyle. The game will also feature different PS5 improvements compared to the PS4 version. This includes improved visual fidelity, including improved cinematic lighting and increased detail. They're also hoping to take advantage of the PS5's super fast SSD, and hopefully there will be virtually no loading screens. Forbidden West game director said, "In an open world game like Horizon Forbidden West, if you open up the map and fast travel from one end to the other, or restart from a checkpoint, it will be super fast. When you boot up the game, you're right there in the action." So with everything we've heard so far, it sounds like it's going to be another amazing experience. Next up on our list is Elden Ring, releasing February 25th for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Elden Ring tells the story of the Tarnished, who were banished from the lands between. With the Elden Ring now shattered, you must build your very own Tarnished and set out for a quest for glory to become the Elden Lord. The game is being developed by From Software, the makers of games such as the Dark Souls series, Demon's Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. The game is also being co-written by Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. While Martin was more focused on the lore of the game, such as its legends and characters, Miyazaki helped to create much of the in-game text and the character interactions. It is said that players will be able to choose between 10 different classes, however only 5 of those classes have been shown so far. Of the ones we've seen so far is the Bloody Wolf, the Enchanted Knight, the Prophet, the Champion, and the Warrior. The game will also feature a variety of different boss battles and unique enemies to fight. There will also be demigods who control the 6 different regions of the game. These are going to be the hardest bosses of the game, each possessing a shard of the Elden Ring. It is said that with these shards they have gained different powers, but due to their corruption were warped into the creatures that we will fight in the game. Players will need to defeat these demigods throughout the story to collect the different shards of the Elden Ring. The game will also feature a day and night cycle. Regarding the exploration and movement, players will be able to fast travel using points of grace and stakes of Marika. Players will also be able to navigate the map on a mount that they can summon nearly any time. They can also use spirit springs to leap into the air while on horseback, increasing the verticality of the game. It will also feature many dungeon areas such as Stormveil Castle. Regarding its difficulty, Elden Ring is described as being nearly as difficult as Dark Souls 3. However, the developers are hoping to make the game much more accessible to different players by providing different ways to approach the tasks in the game. Regarding the game's combat, there will be over 100 skills that players can develop that are not tied to weapons, giving players more freedom to choose their preferred combat style, whether that be melee focused, range, magic, or stealth. Miyazaki estimates that the main story will take at least 30 hours to complete. Elden Ring is definitely one of the most anticipated games of the year and one that may push for Game of the Year. And if you want to know more about Elden Ring, be sure and check the description where I discuss over 30 details about the game that we know so far. Next up on our list is Martha is Dead, releasing February 24th for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Martha is Dead is a dark, first-person psychological thriller set in World War II era Italy, in a time when the conflict between the German and Allied forces is growing more intense. You will play as a young and aspiring photographer named Julia, whose father is a German officer. As a result of her father's status, Julia is able to live peacefully while most Italian citizens are suffering from the war, and is also unaware of the extent of her father's involvement. This peaceful life abruptly ends when her sister Martha is found dead, a trauma that Julia is left to uncover and deal with alone. Throughout the game, you will be using photography to uncover the game's various mysteries. In the game, you'll be taught to use an old-school camera, you'll take photos, develop them, and then examine them to discover different things. Steam describes the game by saying the hunt for the truth is shrouded by mysterious folklore and the extreme horror of war that draws ever closer. The game will also feature authentic Italian voice acting as the default setting to increase player immersion. Players will also play with numerous marionette sequences in the puppet theater to remember repressed memories, unlock symbols, and use tarot cards to unveil new aspects of the game and to summon the spirit of the lady. The game is also said to feature some beautiful graphics as well, and PC gamers stated that after playing a 30-minute demo, they think the game has the potential to become a cult classic. So for fans of horror and psychological games, this is one to look out for. So that is going to be the most exciting games releasing in February of 2022. There's so many exciting games and honestly not enough time to play them all. So guys, you tell me, which ones are you most excited for? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure and drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.